Chief of Los Angeles Police Department, Chief Michael Moore.
That's the guy who covers up sexual harassment right there. Michael Moore covered up the sexual harassment of Lillian Carranza. We just paid $4 million because of you, Michael. $4 million lawsuit, Michael, because of you. How dare you? Stop covering up sexual harassment, Michael.
Last Christmas.
Stop covering up sexual harassment, Michael. Stop covering up sexual harassment, Michael. We paid $4 million. We paid $4 million lawsuit because of you, Michael. Stop covering up sexual harassment, Michael. A $4 million lawsuit because you refuse to stand up for your own captain, Michael. Your own captain. Your own captain. You sold her out. We have to pay $4 million because of you, Michael. Because you covered up her sexual harassment of Lillian Carranza. And you should be ashamed of yourself. You are despicable. You are gross.
Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas, but we got to pay $4 million because of you. Stop covering up sexual harassment, Michael. You should be ashamed of yourself, Michael. Shame on you, Michael. Shame on you, Michael.
Film the Police LA is an activist you should know.
Karen, you're cutting nearly 300 street service and sanitation jobs. You're cutting nearly 300 street service and sanitation jobs. And yet you're asking people to come out here and volunteer. Why are your goons blocking me? Why are your goons blocking me? You're cutting nearly 300 sanitation and street service jobs, Karen. No. You're cutting nearly 300 sanitation and street service jobs, Karen. You cut sanitation and street services by $35 million last year. And then the streets are filthy, and then you're asking people to volunteer. Now, it's good that they're volunteering, good for the volunteers, but you're cutting everything that keeps this city clean. Oh, Zach, remember you said that those projections by Kenneth Mejia were doomsday projections and theatrical analysis. Do you agree? Do you still agree with that? He was proven right. He was proven right. This is my community. I clean up all the time. Are you going to answer the question? Was Kenneth Mejia right about the projections? Was Kenneth Mejia?
See how many people
Zach, once again, Zach, are you going to answer the question? Well, you're not going to answer the question. I'm going to ask Karen Bass. You know why she's here? Because you cut the budget for sanitation. Zach Seidel right here cut the budget for sanitation, cut the budget for street services. Look at you. This is laughed at. You guys got laughed at in Sacramento yesterday. Yes, you did. Gavin Newsom refused to meet with you. LA Times said they laughed at you. Yeah, Zach.
Because this is what it looks like when members of the community hold the powerful accountable.
Remember when your cops shot him, did a drive-by on Jermaine Pettit, right?
Okay, enjoy the show. Look,
I don't care about that show. That show means nothing.
Have a good day.
I don't care.
Have a good day.
Shot him in the back in a drive-by on MLK. And then your department lied about it and tried to cover it up over and over again. But while you want me to go ahead and literally wag the dog's tail for a distraction. But this is what your department does.
Have a good day.
Having the film ourselves from a different perspective allows us to document the incident, document the misconduct, and then from there we can take it to the public.
The man behind that account is the dude y'all saw on your screens.
If it wasn't for somebody actually filming that incident, no officer would have been held accountable. It's powerful when we can actually show the public what happened as opposed to a police narrative.
He speaks out at meetings.
I personally think I calmed down the situation. When I show up, cops act differently. We all act differently when people are watching.
So you've arrived at a scene, started filming, and seen a noticeable change in the posture of police?
Every night, all the time.
I've reviewed a lot of video taken by citizens regarding police conduct, and it does give you a clearer picture of what actually took place.
But one thing I'll say, but Rosh, a few months ago, you seemed upset, concerned about the number of cops who were being arrested for DUIs and the lack of discipline. So I went to the discipline report 2 months ago, and it shows not one cop arrested for DUI, not two, not three, not four, not five, not six, not seven, but 8 cops arrested for DUIs. One of them, a detective, drove to work drunk and was at work drunk. If that were any of us, we'd be fired. But how many of these 8 cops were fired? 0. You can get arrested, and you know what? Some of these guys are going to get probation. These are going to be detectives who are on probation, still as cops. Now, you mentioned tonight that you're going to have these community events, and one of them is going to be in the Mission Division. I got an email from Google last week saying that they want to take down one of my pages because there was copyrighted information on it. The page was about this Mission Division Senior Lead Officer, Philip Ruiz. Philip Ruiz is a guy who has been suspended 2 times for beating the shit out of his girlfriend. And after his girlfriend dumped him, he went and stalked her. And then the reason I got this information is because of SB 1421, because of the sexual assault nature. He stalked her at an event and went up to her and grabbed her by the. And this is a senior lead officer. This is a senior lead officer. When the girlfriend broke up with him, he said, you should dig up your dead kids and put them on display in front of your house for Halloween. I know about this because of SB 1421.
Holding up a mirror to committees about police brutality.
Good morning. So for the first time in 2 months, somebody in our government has finally spoken up and spoken out about the violence against journalists at protests. 2 months ago, your department went and brutalized and detained journalists, and they went and got a restraining order. And none of you guys said anything, said nothing. The LAPD heard that loud and clear, and so what they went and did is they went out and beat the shit and detained 10 journalists. One of them is back there, right there, Nick Stern, who you talk about journalists need to identify themselves. He had an oversized press pass on, showing it to an officer as he batoned him in his face and split his face open. How about that for self-identifying? And another journalist, Sean Beckner Carp-Mitchell, came over, raised his hand, approached, asked for a PIO, which is required under 409.7. They refused him and then batoned him in the ribs, fracturing his ribs. And then from there, this is while he's wearing his press pass, they detained him for an hour in handcuffs with other journalists. While you guys sat around for the last 2 months refusing to say anything about their abuse of the press, they heard it loud and clear. And they said, we're going to go out here and do what the we want to do. How dare you, all of you for that. Now you talk about what's your protocol for identifying press. They are identifying themselves. They are saying it outwardly. They are wearing press passes. But their supervisors on scene are not honoring that. Nate Gowdy and Carrie Schrecker were detained, 2 really reputable journalists. They said, well, we can't verify that they're actual journalists. You had a lawyer there on scene identifying them, and they were not accepting that. Nate Gowdy is a guy who has his work on the cover of Time magazine. And then the LAPD had the nerve to go to ABC and say that they were pretending to be press. You know, I got to tell you something. It's been very clear what their policy is with self-identifying. Let me read this to you. The department will recognize individuals who self-identify as media representatives and will not require specific credentials. The inability to produce identification does not disqualify you as acting as a member of the press. You know who wrote that? This guy right here in 2020. That's your own fucking words.
And let me be clear. This is the energy we need today. If there was a ranking list, a tier system even, of the top activist videos that I have seen, he would be at the top. What he is doing on the streets of LA, which apparently was banned because he went after Scientology, is bar none. He is going out there day in, day out and showing you the way that cops abuse the system, how they mishandle small cases to big ones, the improper conduct that runs rampant, and how, per the activists, they violate policy hundreds of thousands of times. And he's only one person in one part of Los Angeles. That's the scariest part. Is that every time he goes out, he documents and he sees something that is a violation. He will go to LAPD headquarters and be stonewalled by those behind the glass. They make his life a living hell, and he keeps doing it. Why? Because they overreach in the way that they treat the public all the time. And if we had more Streets LAs out there, the cops potentially would change their ways, but he's only one person. And there are plenty of activists out there, I want to be clear about this. I saw it when I was in LA, who are doing phenomenal work. But what it'll truly take are candidates that are not beholden to the unions. Candidates who will provide accountability. Because while one man can do it from a cell phone, what it will legitimately take is organizing and putting in a candidate that not only vows to do it, but does it.